This video is going to be about my automatic cat feeder build. This is the second version, and I'm just going to show you how to make some pretty large improvements to the previous versions. Here I've taken one of the covers off the side of the cat feeder just to get your orientation. The top of the cat feeder is to the top of the screen. This is the area where the cat food is stored in the cat feeder. I can fit about two 15-pound bags. These parts here are going to get removed to make room for the new internals. So those are out of there now. Here I'm doing the layout for the new parts and kind of previewing how the actuator is going to move through its stroke to make sure it makes sense. I always have to see it in real life to really get an idea of how it works. The linear actuator has a 6-inch stroke, so that means that I needed to have 2 inches underneath the cat food to go in, and then it's going to move forward another 2 inches, but that 2 inches needs to be located in an area where it's neither open above to the cat food or open below to the kitty food. Then the final 2 inches is where the cat food goes into the cat feeder, if that makes any sense. So after some careful measuring, I've cut down those 2 pieces and set them in the box how I want them. You'll notice that they're a little bit shorter, and that's to accommodate the piston that will be attached to the actuator. Then I fasten those pieces onto the side of the cat feeder with countersunk screws. Now I have the 2x4 that will act as the piston, and I'm just marking out where it goes. Since the rear of the actuator is going to overhang the rear of the box, I'm going to have to build a platform that extends beyond the back of the box, and that's kind of what I'm measuring here. The rest of this part of the video is me building the platform for the linear actuator, the piston, and the other various bits like the feeding area and a little shelf to hold the electronics. It was really terrible weather out when I was shooting this, and so I was in a big hurry to get inside, and something happened to the rest of the build video, I'm not sure. But we'll pick it up again on the inside of the house when I do the wiring for the electronics. For this part you'll need some butt splices, sized appropriate for the wire you're working with, wire strippers, some 2 power supplies, and some vice grips. You also need this thing. It's a double pole, double throw relay. The coil is 12 volts and it's rated for 120 AC. And there's the back where the wires connect. I'll talk about that more later. And one of these, it's a heavy duty wall timer. You just adjust the time that it turns on and turns off by moving those pins around, and that'll power the unit on and off at the feeding time that you select. So now I get into the business of wiring this thing up. Here the power supplies were rated for slightly different amperages, so I wanted to give the highest amperage to the actuator, so that's what I'm talking about there. And here I'm stripping a bunch of wires. And here I'm talking about how a relay functions. There's a little ferrous core in that coil, and as you apply current to it, it does the physical action of closing a switch. Same exact thing as when you turn a light switch on and off, but they just do it with an electrical current. Here I'm crimping the butt splices with my vice grips. I don't have a proper crimping tool, but this works fine. So what I'm attaching here is the power leads to the coil power supply, which are those two prongs that are oriented perpendicularly to all the other prongs. I've also selected the lower rated amperage power supply to do this, since it's only drawing 12 volts for the coil. So now I'm going to show you the other 6 prongs. Those bottom 2 remaining horizontal prongs, those are the leads that are going to go to the actuator. And then the other 4, you need to do some clever wiring work to get the polarity reversing that we require to drive the actuator back and forth. So here's the start of that clever wiring. So I've stripped the leads from the other power supply, and what you need to do is you need to splice 2 lines into each of the supplies. So you want to turn that red wire into 2 wires and that black wire into another 2 wires, so you have 4 total, and those 4 will get connected to the top 4 prongs of the relay. Then I'm making the splice by using just one end of this butt splice. And the other side gets a splice. And here I'm attaching the connectors that mate with the studs on the relay. Okay, so now I'm connecting them to the top 4 plugs, and this is the tricky part. So let's say that I have the 2 blacks in my hand. I'm going to attach 1 black to the lower left, like I have it there, and then 1 to the upper right. And then when I attach the red side, or just the other wire, I'm going to just take up those last 2 spots of the upper 4. So that's what I'm finishing up there. Now I want to prep the lines from the actuator to get connected to the relay. So there's the relay all hooked up. So now I've just done a little test run to make sure that everything moves freely and is functioning the way that I want it to, which it is.